Welcome to day one of IAAPA, and what a dynamic way to start IAAPA with dynamic attractions and some big announcements. So please welcome with me the CEO of Dynamic Attractions, Mr. Guy Nelson.
Thank you, John. Welcome, everybody. It's really, IAAPA is a fun time for everyone, and we are particularly excited today, as we were, I guess, virtually every time we've come for the last few years. We introduce new products if we can. We've got 2 new products this year. One in our theater product range. Of course, when it comes to theater products, we like to think we broke ground on that. We built all of the flying theaters for Disney, and we've got our own flying theater as well. We've got about 9 of those all over the world, and more coming. But we've got another product that we're going to announce, and George will give you a little more details on exactly what the new theater product is. And we've got a second product that our people have been working on for the last number of months. That is, let's say, a dark ride that's never been built before. So I'll let George explain that one as well. But so it's a fun time for us to be in. We do think that because we participate in some of the most popular attractions in the world, manufacturing them, designing them, building them, we want to keep on in that tradition. We're quite an innovative company. We got a lot of engineers working for us. We got a lot of creative people working for us, and so it's the combination of that comes out with some of the most exciting attractions in the world. So one of them, or 2 of them, I think, are going to be today. Now, I also want to introduce a new member of our team. Hao Wang is president of Dynamic Attractions. I was playing that role for a period of time, but I started to figure out the Rise Rebellion is so complicated. I needed some help with somebody actually could handle 100 engineers. So Hao joined us. He comes from the automotive industry. In fact, he's been building supercars and for the last 20 years, and that is a big part of our future. We make special things that move people in volumes, and so I think Hao's addition is going to really help us move it to another level. So Hao, if you want to come up and tell us what a supercar is, that would be great. So Hao Wang.
Thank you, Guy. How exciting is this? This is my first IAAPA, and ever since the stepping in this morning at 8:30 in the kickoff show, it was like, this feels like a beginning of an F1 race, and it truly does. It's and that's not where the similarities end. The products that we will be bringing you, the products that we will be announcing you here today, and the future products that we will be bringing out, will incorporate some of that F1 technology. And we're looking to innovate, to bring new technologies to bear in the products that we provide to increase and enhance the user experience. And that's our goal at Dynamic. We're going to continue to push the boundaries. Status quo is not good enough. We're going to look for new ways of enhancing the user experience and bring excitement to millions of people worldwide. I've been doing boring things like building supercars and race cars the last 20 years. Thought I'd try something new. I was a big fan of cars, and before that I was a bigger fan of rides. And I'm finally able to be part of that. So thank you, and we're looking to a great show. One of the parts of a great show is the show and the ride. You have to bring that together, and that's what we're focusing on. So with that, let me introduce our SVP of Dynamic Attractions, George Walker.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Hao Wang, and he's underselling it. I mean, he builds supercars. He's got a legacy background, was it 20 years in the industry, just amazing technology that comes from that part of the world, and that part of that industry in the world. And we're taking some of that, plus some of the stuff that we've been working on for about 2 years now. And I'm going to tell a real quick story. It was about 2 years ago. I sat there with Guy Nelson and Mike and Cindy and the whole team. We sat in a conference room and we started to stroke our goatees, and we thought, what would be the next coolest thing that we could introduce to the world? And coincidentally, it had a lot to do with cars and vehicle technology. We thought, what if there were a ride vehicle that could go anywhere and could do almost anything, and yet be totally safe and totally fun at the same time? And that's where we came up with this concept. So now imagine, if you will, the newest addition to our Dark Ride product line. Imagine a Dark Ride vehicle. It could go indoor or outdoor. That could literally, the road no longer applies here. It can go up and down steep inclines and declines. It can go over rough and rocky terrain. We are calling it the All-Terrain Dark Ride. It's autonomous, it's omnidirectional, multiple vehicles can be on the same place at the same time, and yet you can also drive it if you want to, but safely. Now, if you think about the world of self-driving cars, that's taking over right now, right? Self-driving cars are a big thing. Except that in the world of self-driving cars, the self-driving cars are trying not to crash or collide or put you in a dangerous situation. Well, we're going to have the opposite scenario on our hands because we have total control over the environment. We're a theme park, so we're going to intentionally make you feel like you are in a dangerous, precarious, or exciting situation. It's like the car chase in the movies come to life. So, with that said, what I would like to do now is introduce to you with this video that we have the world's first and only all-terrain dark ride. Pretty cool, right? But wait, there's more. Why would we stop with just introducing a cool new dark ride system to the world when we could also introduce a cool new flying theater product to the world? So, the next product I'm going to talk to you about today is called the Dynamic Flight Cycle. And we call it the flight cycle because you're going to be sitting in it like in a flying theater. But normally in a flying theater, you have kind of a fun and placid, serene, scenic experience. That's where you're sort of sitting back and drifting through the air. But what if you were in more of like a motorcycle position, leaning forward into the wind, like a motorcycle with wings? And so that's the concept of the Flight Cycle product line. And we're also going to be introducing a thing that we call attraction packages. This is where we're going to take all of the media, all of the story, all of the concepts, we're going to wrap it all up into one package. Kind of like when you go to buy a car at a car dealership. You walk onto the lot, and as soon as you get there, you pick out your color, you pick out certain features, but then when you're done, you have everything that you need, you settle on a price, we hand you the keys, and you drive off the lot. That's what an attraction package is. So with the Flight Cycle, we started to think, well, what would be kind of fun? If you're in this almost like riding a horse kind of position, what would be a fun thing to do with the Flight Cycle? Let me ask a question. Who here in this crowd likes dragons?
Make way! Make way! We are here to recruit for our mighty struggle. Who here wants to join our fight against the evil kingdoms? Yes!
Who here wants to soar among the mystic realms?
Who is brave enough to join our forces?
Who here would like to become Dragon Riders?
Dragon Riders!
Now, we would like to show you what it would be like to be a Dragon Rider.
Right after the quick reminder about the All-Terrain Dark Ride. All right then. Well, while we're working on a little technical difficulty, I will tell you a little bit about the Dragon Rider storyline. So imagine that there are two kingdoms in a medieval world, and that they are constantly doing battle with one another. And the way in which they battle, they do so by riding on the backs of dragons. They do so by riding on the backs of dragons. And that's what this system is going to allow you to do. One of the things that we really like about it is that it actually is a very modular system. So we have the ability to scale it up or down. We can have a large theater for you, or we can actually do a smaller one. And even our ceiling height requirements for this system are much, much lower. So that means that if you have a smaller space, we're much more likely to be able to fit that into that space. So take, for example, a classic flying theater model. Those require very, very tall, very large space, just by the very nature of the way a flying theater works. But with a flight cycle, the modularity of it allows us to cram it into lots of different fun spaces. So if you have a challenging space, feel free to make an appointment with the sales team, and we will get that, get your questions answered about that and get that figured out. And now at this time, I'd like to invite the entire Dynamic Attractions executive staff to come up to the booth, and we will unveil our Dragon Rider Flight Cycle vehicle model and our all-terrain dark ride model. Alrighty, come on guys, get up here, get up here. All right, well thank you guys very much. We appreciate everyone coming out to hear our announcements about today. And I'd also like to take this moment to open up the floor to any questions that you may have.
Or we can have some questions on one-on-one after, but we can also do some pictures. Oh, we got a question here, Mark, yes.
Yes, okay. I see that fact, you have the G.I. Joe IP presented here, and I can recognize from my childhood the Dark Ride concept. Is this something that you can offer to clients, or is this something that you sold also?
Well, I'm going to hand that one off to George here, but this is that's a good question.
Yeah, so the question was, you noticed that we have a couple of banners and graphics that say G.I. Joe versus Cobra, the experience. And all we can say at this time, it's like all military concepts. This one is very, very top secret. But we can tell you that if you are interested in something along those lines, please make an appointment with our sales team today. We'll be more than happy to talk to you all about it. Any other questions? You guys are so dumbfounded and awestruck that you're speechless.
I have another one.
Another question from Mark, yeah.
I noticed in the video that the restraint for the new flight cycle is a seat belt. Is that what is this still in development, or is this the final product yet?
That's still in development, yeah. But
It's one of several things we're testing right now, both for young and tall people. We want to make it as easy to get in and out as possible, and yet be completely restrained. The seat you saw there was a culmination of a lot of ergonomic testing, and we're still doing some things to improve, as always, to make it safe and fun. Thanks. Oh, hi, I'm sorry, I'm Mike Hameson. I'm Vice President of Technical Development here in Orlando.
well, thank you.
Any other questions? No?
Well, we got more.
Everybody else? All right, well, guys, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you in the queue of the next great Dynamic Attractions attraction.